Greetings to everyone and everything. We are the Dawn of Ascension show, and I'm here with my Ascension Soul team, Susie, Gina, and Aubrey. And we're here to discuss and explain and talk about our views, our tools, and our journeys through these wild and wonky vibrations that we're living through every day. Just look around and see how crazy they are. Today, we want to talk about um, the spirit and its quest, as well as our ego self, because they're both connected. And so, our this lifetime, we're all here on a spiritual quest to bring our spirit in, to find our spirit. And we have to work with this ego self while we're doing this. And this ego self is a really fierce protector. It wants to guard us and help us. And it's also our self-perception. It helps make us who we are and how we look individualized from each other and makes us individuals. And if we're seeing things in an imbalanced and a self-separated way, meaning that we're hurt or something like that, then we're going to see that then that actually comes from wounding that needs to be healed and not from the true ego or the spirit. Boy, I hope I got that all okay, Aubrey. Aubrey, please help us with this subject today.
Thanks, Arlene. So as Arlene said, our ego is essentially our a container for our personality. It's our container for our self-perception. And like she said, our individuation here as humans. And so also, like Arlene said, our egos are our fiercest protectors. So as we go throughout life, our very first wound that we receive when we are human is the idea that we are separate. Because when we separate from our mother, we then believe that we are actually separate from the things around us. And that is not true. And a lot of the human existence and human life is a journey to then come to the understanding that we were never separated. It was just, we just believed ourselves to be. And so our egos are really our best friends here on this planet. They're kind of the container that keep us here in the human experience, which is what we're here to be in. And it will, if you start to become friends with your ego, then you can start to kind of use it to understand where your wounding is. And it's very, very good at pointing at where healing is if you understand how to talk to it, which a lot of us don't, because our egos are so good at protecting us. Often the things that we need to look at most are the things that our ego does not want us to look at because it's trying to protect us. So if you start shifting your perspective to kind of a more observant perspective rather than being in it while you're trying to talk to your ego, you'll notice that if you're feeling really defensive about something, that's the very biggest, easiest indicator to use to work with your ego, because your ego is going to want to defend you from things that it perceives as a threat to your already existing wounds. So the example I like to use is if I were to say, "Hey, Arlene, your hair is really purple today." Arlene, how do you feel about that?
Uh, that's your opinion, not mine. Your
Arlene,
eyes are off.
Arlene has no insecurities about her hair being purple. There's nothing, there's like, it's very obvious to her that that is a me thing and not a her thing. But if I were to come up to Arlene and try to say something I mean, I know Arlene quite personally. If I were to say something that negative about something that she actually does have insecurities about, her system is going to try to protect her from it and go into defend mode. And so that's true of all of us. If you find that you're having a conversation and someone says something to you and you feel defensive about it, that's a very good indicator that you've got a wound there, that you do have the power to heal. That's the great news about all of this is our bodies and our spirits really do know how to heal themselves if you're willing. The next harbinger, I call these harbingers because they're very good indicators that something is amiss. The next harbinger is frustration. So if you're feeling really, really frustrated in the moment of something, that's a very good indicator that you're not being present with it. Because the way the energy works, I mean, we put ourselves in every single situation that we're ever in. And so if you're feeling frustrated with where you put yourself, that's a good indicator that you have been engaging in something in self-punishment actions, or you're trying to tell yourself something, and you're trying to like put yourself in situations so that you can correct your energy to be in situations you prefer. And so if you find yourself being frustrated in something, I prescribe a deep level of acceptance, feeling very present and accepting that you've put yourself where you are, is the very first step to then changing the circumstances that made you frustrated in the first place. The last harbinger that we want to talk about today is pride. So the society and kind of culture that we've lived in as humans for quite some time has been very hierarchy based, and there is a level of safety in feeling above other people or feeling superior to other people, and so um, there's a very good blind spot to it's almost like a false ego kind of the like front that gets put up when you're feeling very, very proud, like you're above of the people around you. And that is a really good indicator that you're trying to avoid something. Because if you wouldn't need to feel above people if you felt okay being you. Um, we the girls and I were talking before we got on the video today, and there's a quote by C.S. Lewis that has been really uh, quintessential for me in understanding this concept of humility. And the quote is, true humility is the ability to build the most beautiful cathedral the world has ever seen and be just as proud of it as if someone else has done it. And it's very easy as humans to feel like if you can't shine properly and not be, then therefore you're above other people, or this hierarchy ideas have gotten us very twisted about what it means to be authentic and what it means to be us. And the truth is that there is enough room. In fact, there's plenty of room for all of us to shine as brightly as we're meant to. And the being above or below, and kind of having some sort of system where what does that mean, if someone else is shining and I'm not, like all of that is it's you can just throw it out the window. We don't need any of that. What we need is for people to shine brightly. And you can do that very, very well when you are making friends with yourself. And that means making friends with your ego. And instead of taking it as a character defect when you do have a wound and when you do feel defensive, that's okay. Everybody does. And you can parent yourself and love yourself through that rather than treating it like a dirty little secret.
Yeah, the dirty little secret. That is very well. That is very well put. Very well put. Uh, I find that if I feel most frustrated, or then I like to sit with myself and kind of poke around and see what's going on. And sometimes if you feel that frustration and you need to go sit with yourself and figure it out, but you can't, and yourself is pushing you, then just make a deal and go, when I get home after dealing with this, then we will sit and we will we will get this together, and make a deal with yourself and do what you need to do and finish, and then go um, deal with that thing. Oh, that's really good, Aubrey. It puts the ego in a whole different light when you look at it that way than any way that we've been taught or trained or told how it is. Gina, what do you got on this subject today?
Took a minute, but I
Yeah,
think um, so. With the frustration issue, I was thinking of paperwork that I have to do about bills and things like that, and how frustrated sometimes I get with that. And then I was So I was trying to, well, that's a frustration, but it's really just not liking that part of what I'm doing. So it's changing that attitude, I guess, to I like it. Yeah. Well, I'll work on that one. and and then there's when people criticize you, or you're looking at the world around you and something is praised so much for, and but it's something that you also do, but you feel like it's not good enough and whatever. Everybody has their own opinions of things, and what they think or what the collective thinks is good doesn't have to be what you think is good. I mean, it, or good enough. And like the Mona Lisa, okay, it's a beautiful painting, but I don't think it is that beautiful. That's my opinion. A lot of people think it's, gorgeous, whatever. But everything is in the eyes of the beholder. Look through your eyes at what you behold and see the world and see your world, and make your world as beautiful as you want it to be.
Thank you for that, Gina. And it is, that's really all that matters is how we think about us. Because once we're in line with us and we think about us, we're going to be in line with everything and everyone around us anyway. So
You
that,
be the most beautiful person you can be.
mhm,
And
feels,
thinking yourself is beautiful too. I mean,
That's
if you
right.
have parts of you that you don't love, the name of the game right now is figuring out a way to love those parts because they are you and you wouldn't be you without those parts. And the more you try to push them away, the more that they're going to come at you.
oh, really? Oh,
Fake it till you make it.
mm, wow. Okay. Susie, Susie, Susie. What's that fairy message today?
Oh, thanks, Arlene. Our fairy message today is unmarked trail.
Oh my.
Unmarked trail, an unprecedented experience, discovery, revelation. But with this card, are you called to embark on your path? Are you entering from the darkest part of your soul, to find what you need? Are those manicured paths bringing only temporary pleasure? Um, you can stop that at any time. You already know there's nothing at the end of that road. And don't look for old solutions, that may have worked in the past. Instead, just pause, breathe, and listen to your heart. I think, with the message today with ego, we just need to bring it all back to heart. And I'm also getting with this card, the unmarked trail. It can also be a sign that you have already made a choice. So just be at peace with what your heart knows to be true, and know that the universe has your back. Aubrey, I pulled this Five of Pentacles Lepton card as our supplementary. And from what I was able to discover with this card, it has to do a lot with neutrinos, that float like freely around the universe. But the electrons tend to be bound into the atomic nuclei. So would this be why we're constantly struggling between our infinite spirit and the material world?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, right now, we're our job right now is to ascend the human vessel, and that means like on a practical level, everybody's job is to love being human. But uh, our when we're here in this dimension, when we're here in this human realm and in this kind of a perspective, it's really hard. It's very easy to feel like you're not an infinite being, and it's very easy to kind of get locked into here. And um, the understanding that now is the only true time that exists is kind of where you're going to access the rest of your infinite potential and all of your lifetimes and all of your information and all of that is really it's accessible in our nucleus in our heart. That's kind of where all of this kind of comes together and we get to understand the inner workings of the universe. And so I think a five on the tarot is also it's mid in the middle of a journey. It's kind of where you're coming to the the decision point to decide how you're going to finish your journey. And I think right now everybody is really is deciding what you want to do. Do you want to ascend? Do you want to be in a higher vibration? And if so, it's time to actually practically put action into motion here to really do what you can to detoxify your body. Be really aware of the media that you're consuming. The everything that you put your energy towards is going to come back at you. So if you are actively spending time watching media that makes you feel like crap, then you're inviting that into your life, and it's time to really take accountability for where you were putting yourself and choose into the higher vibrations.
Wow, that was quite intense and deep. Gee whiz, that was very quantum. Maybe we need to label it.
You will get a lecture in this video.
Beep, beep.
Coming in.
Any
Beep.
more lectures?
Yeah, beep, 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 beep. Aubrey, who wants to come and chat with us or give us a message today?
Today's message is from the water. Pretty
Oh,
cool.
cool.
I love it when water talks, especially because it's a very, very collective consciousness. Water would like us all to know that it is a very good friend to us right now. Our DNA is actually not in the helix that we view it as. Those are actually electron bonds that are happening in the water. It's basically free flowing codes in water. And right now, as we are looking to cleanse our DNA and move our systems into something that can actually sustain these higher vibrations, drinking lots of water, being next to water, taking baths, anything that has to do with water is going to really help you, especially if you talk to the water and ask for intentions with for purification, for clarification. We're really trying to clear out some of the diseased codes that have kind of been on the planet for quite some time. And it starts with you. So water can help you purify your system, especially if you set intention with your water to purify yourself.
I
Ooh.
just want to emphasize one word that you said there and a point. Dis-ease. It's not an illness. It's something that's uneasy within you that the codes are coming in to transmute now. The other thing I've noticed now that summer's gone and it's winter, it's a lot harder to drink cold water. just thought about that yesterday, going, I have hardly had any water today at all. So, good thing to pay attention to. Make it hot tea or bone broth and soups. Yay. Doesn't have to be, but water is good, especially with lemon. Anyway, there you go. Enjoy.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Water, for that message. That's a really good message for us to all just comprehend and think about a little bit. If you have any comments or any questions, please put them in the bottom in our comment section and we would be glad to answer them for you. But for now, and to another day, this is the Dawn of Ascension show. And thank you, everyone, for enjoying this time with us. Bye.
Bye.
Uh,